I'm lucky enough to be speaking to two people that are involved with a fantastic documentary, of course, as part of NorthWestFest. It is Steve Villeneuve, director, writer, editor, and Martin Bruyere, who's the associate producer. And he also said he's something else too, but we're going to let him describe that if he wants to later as to what he did on the film. Of course, we're talking about the documentary Hail to the Deadites. Hail to the Deadites streams as part of Night Visions. And that's a program that is presented by the Metro Cinema as part, of course, of NorthWestFest. And you can stream this film as well as so many others at northwestfest.ca. For anyone watching this, or even with an earshot of my voice, if you're anything like me, the Evil Dead franchise has been with you for many, many decades. This film itself, though, Hail to the Deadites, it's kind of a step beyond the copious extras that you might have found on your numerous physical releases that Anchor Bay was shoving down your throats for years, and I bought every single one of them, of the original trilogy, or even the reimagining of the series Ash versus Evil Dead in some ways, or the reimagining of the film. This documentary is a tribute to the people that keep these films alive. So why don't we give the audience some background as to how you started this project and some of the elements of this celebration of all things Evil Dead.
Hey, Christian. First of all, thank you for having us on your Q&A podcast, whatever. Like, we're going to be everywhere. That's what you told us. So that's cool. And yes, Martin liked to refer himself as a slave, because I kind of like swing him around
everywhere.
Yeah.
Do the sound, do the camera, go get that guy. I want this interview. Come with me if you want to live.
But yeah, actually the project started over 7 years ago. And like the first time actually I met Martin was like 7 years ago, because the goal was to go to Cinema Wasteland to do an interview with Tom Sullivan, which I knew because I went to that festival convention a couple of times before, and I kind of give a call to Martin and I was like, hey, I know that you're a big horror fan and you like the Evil Dead, and I'm starting this project. Would you mind coming with me? And we didn't really knew each other before. Well, actually, we saw each other a couple of times in local film festival here in Montreal, but never drink a beer together, for example, or more a Bailey's. Martin is more of a Bailey's guy. and he decided to jump in the project, and he came with us to Cinema Wasteland, and this is how the project started actually.
Now, you got to talk to Bruce Campbell. You already mentioned Tom Sullivan, and several other cast members that you tracked down as well through conventions. But I think the beauty of this film is that you truly elevate the Deadites. That's the name that the Evil Dead fans will give themselves. I'm not sure where it came from, to be honest with you, but why don't you give us a little taste of some of the people you ran into, because I always find that kind of stuff endlessly fascinating, to see other people's addiction to the same thing that I love.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. You think you're an Evil Dead fan, and then you encounter all those people with huge collections, like really huge collections. You have the people that cosplay everything from Evil Dead. There's people who collects props from all the movies. And you have people like Steve, who has I don't know how many copies of the same movie. I think about Michael, who has like 250 copies of the same Evil Dead. I'm like, okay, I thought I was a fan, but obviously there's a lot more bigger fans than me out there. So just the fact that we had the chance to meet all of them was really crazy and fun at the same time, because they all have their own stories, and it's interesting, it's fun, and as you can see in the movie, that's what makes the entire documentary something very interesting.
Yeah, it was actually quite an adventure to meet those people, because some of them, like like we didn't know it, we didn't know them before. You know, I wasn't really aware, like Martin was saying, of all those, you know, the Evil Dead, the Deadites, you know, universe and stuff like that, like before starting working on the project. And I kind of discover everyone because of Brie Common. She's the one who kind of who won the IGN contests to be the first person to watch the trailer of the new Evil Dead, and she kind of put me in contact. She actually told me, well, there's Elise, which is like she's in Montreal, like 20 minutes away from your place. I was like, oh wow, okay. And then she kind of put me in contact with all the other folks that we see in the film, and some of them, like AC McRae, kind of contact us directly. He was like, you know, I have a huge story about my son that I didn't name Ash, and I would like to tell that story, but I'm not too sure. And if you ever come to Indianapolis, you should like we should meet each other. And you know, we went to the show Days of the Dead because you know he was there and Bill Moseley was there also. So it's all interesting and different stories. Same thing with the wedding thing, you know, like we were doing the interview with Tom Sullivan, and Danny said, like what you can see in the film, he said that there was a proposal in his like in front of his booth like during the day, and I was like, oh crap, we missed that, you know. It would be so much cool to have this in the movie. And then a couple of days after, I kind of just poke the people on the internet. Like I think it was on the Cinema Wasteland group. I was like, hey, if you guys were doing an Evil Dead documentary, if the couple that you know did the man who did the proposal is here, just like wave. And his brother reached out to me and he's like, dude, I filmed the entire thing. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be cool. And we have to wait like a year because the wedding was like a year after to go there and film the wedding. So it was quite a ride, and it was super fun.
Well, I think that's one of the parts here that Stephen Martin, that you um, go on this intensive road trip as you like crisscross like North America, soaking up horror convention culture and these people's homes that invite you in. Can you let anyone in the audience know about the feeling of being at these events and, you know, in these people's homes, and dispel any kind of those preconceived notions that people may have? Because I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about this film was that it is very much a loving look at, you know, the dedication these people have.
Well, first of all, I'm a huge fan of horror convention, even film festival. But you know, I think they're quite different. But like HorrorCon are just amazing to me. I've been doing those since the Fangoria Weekends of Horror, like at the beginning of 2000. So like going to horror convention and meet with people that you see in all those shows. You know, you keep seeing the same person, the same people, and then you're becoming like friends with them, and it become a family. And you know, the thing always Martin always saying about the convention is don't go to one
because you'll get hooked to it. Then you'll never quit doing it, and it's true. The first time I went to Cinema Wasteland, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I missed that entire life. I was like, okay, everything that I loved since I was 5 years old, it was there. Posters, people loving the same thing as me, movies, everything horror was in there. So making the project was even more fun because let's face it, you're sharing the same passion as everyone else. So every time we were visiting somebody like Dennis Carter, for example, he had this huge collection and everything he had in there. I wanted to bring back my place. It was insane. So just the fact that we were sharing the same passion made it even better. And I was so happy doing it because I was like a kid in a candy store. That's simple as that.
And the cool thing about the well the Deadites, all the Evil Dead fan, is that I didn't really see any competition between them. It's really like they're gonna help each other, saying, hey, I can send you a copy because I'm from Italy, and like it's gonna be hard for you to get it, so I'm gonna buy it for you and send it your way. Or hey, I just saw this amazing pieces on eBay, if somebody want to grab it, go ahead, it's not expensive. So it's not about like my Evil Dead collection is bigger than yours. It's really like big, huge, cool family. And since we're done with the project and the movie is done, like we have a Facebook, a private group where we're all posting stuff and talking to each other every week and stuff like that. So it's a this is going like beyond the movie. It's not just like you're doing a film, then
It's a
it goes.
long-term relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. Like, I have a long-term relationship with so much cinema that I feel like I'm so deeply loyal. I'm like, I don't care. You can make 20 of these. I'm going to keep buying it and watching it and be interested because it's just like you hooked me once. I'm like, I'm in for life. So I get that sense of loyalty. And one of the things I was curious about though is, if it was me making this, I would completely have to balance my excitement, the fanboy level of myself in these kind of moments. And I was wondering, is that something that you had to kind of temper for yourselves in doing this film, or did you find that that actually helped you quite a bit and maybe made this an even deeper or stronger film because you weren't just looking at it from the outside in, you had already like some knowledge of what these events are like and why people would love this kind of stuff?
It it was hard in my case because I'm a fanboy, and just to meet Bruce Campbell was very, very intimidating. I mean, I like the guy. I've seen him in like 20 horror movies, 30 different horror movies, and here he is, the actor that plays Hash in Evil Dead: Army of Darkness. I was like, okay, I gotta calm down. I gotta be professional here. I gotta make sure that he knows we're here to make a documentary and that we only need to have an interview with this guy. So I did, but I was nervous as hell. And inside, I was like a kid again, fanboy, going like, "Oh my God, it's Bruce Campbell! God damn it, I can't believe it!" So yeah, it wasn't easy for me. I don't know about Steve though.
I'm not. I'm quite different, I think, for that. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited because we're gonna have somebody in the movie. But I did another documentary before called Under the Scares, and we kind of met a bunch of people. Lloyd Kaufman, Archer Gordon Lewis, Robert Kurtzman. So it was exciting to have those people in the film. But something I realized when we were coming back from Chicago after the shoot with Bruce, I was like, I didn't even took a picture with the guy. How stupid am I? So at the end, it was like really like we need to get this interview, and it was it was quite something to get the interview. Also, it was quite an adventure. So when we were having the interview, I was really like focus on getting the interview and make sure that everything is fine and that. But after when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wow, I didn't take the picture, and I didn't speak to the guy since, which is a shame. Yeah.
You're just gonna have to head up to Oregon. I think that's where he's hanging out most of the time, right? So
Hey, we made a movie with Bruce Campbell, so who
that's
cares
right.
about the picture?
That's right.
I actually have a picture with him, but it was at the Ottawa Comic Con back in the day. It's Martin and myself, and we are with Bruce Campbell, Robert Englund, and Kane Hodder. So at the end of the day, it's pretty amazing. But it kind of different to took the picture right after the interview, but like I still like that picture.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, on the topic of Bruce as well, if anyone was confused as to why, he has captivated the hearts of so many, I think this film will convince people about that as to why there is, because he comes off not only just as charming, because, we know that about him already from, the work he's done outside of these films. But the fact that he feels so connected to the audience, how vital was his involvement in this project? And what was your impressions about that relationship that he seems to have, not only with understanding, who he is, but what that context is and that relationship is with the fans?
Oh, to be honest, I was really surprised with everything regarding the fans, all the reaction that anybody had regarding the fans, even the ladies of the Evil Dead, and even Tom Sullivan, and like we have the feeling that they realize that the fans are really really important for them. Like without the fans, there will be no Bruce Campbell. There will be no other Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and everything. So they are really really connected with the fan. And one of the thing with Bruce that I remember again when we were traveling back, we were like did we just did an interview with Bruce Campbell where the guy is like not goofing around and being Bruce Campbell that we all know. Like he gave us something that was really really kind of, I don't want to say secret, but like personal and from the art and stuff like that, and he really really say good thing about the fans. So yeah, it was I was really speechless, when I was watching the interview again. I was like, whoa. And I remember a couple of people who saw the film were like, we didn't think like we ever saw another interview like that of Bruce Campbell, because he's always goofing around and being Bruce.
Yeah, and that might have been, one of those moments where you felt like this is maybe even going beyond what we thought or hoped it might be able to, by getting moments like that. And it becomes kind of like one of those moments that is another one of those several hearts in the film that really make it come to life. You continually throughout the film ask fans to explain their love for the franchise, and that it's deeper than the entertainment value and the collectible nature that a property like this is. So what's your perspective now after the experience of going through the filming, the traveling of it, and then what some people discount is the hours and hours of editing it takes to put this all together in a narrative that makes sense for people that have context or don't? What's your perspective about this franchise and what makes it special?
Oh my God, what's making the franchise special? One of the thing that I like to say is that when you're looking at Evil Dead and you're looking at other films from the 80s, for example, or end of 70s, like for all, let's say Halloween or Friday the 13th, you're looking at those two films and even Nightmare on Elm Street, and they really look like big budget, even if some of them were indie, big budget script movie with a strong storyboard and a big team and stuff like that. And when you're looking at Evil Dead, it's like all the Hindi filmmaker dreams. It looks like a movie like, let's go in a cabin in the woods. We have a story. We're not too sure about everything that we're going to do, and let's do this, and it's becoming a success. So I think this is one of the things that people really like about it, is it really looks like an indie horror film that was successful. So for filmmakers, I think like associating themselves with this, it's a big plus. I don't know, Martin, what your thought about that?
It's a phenomenon, that's for sure. I mean, you look at the entire series, including the TV show, and you see how of an impact it had on the fans of the Evil Dead, and it changed a lot of people. It was also a lot of inspiration, and Steve is one of them. I'm one of them. I mean, all the people we met has been inspired by the series in really good ways too, different ways. So there's only good things to say about Evil Dead.
Now, another facet of the film that I thought was fantastic was how, you found all that music that had been inspired by the franchise itself, right? Let us know about some of those artists that you have in there. It's a real Hellbelly feel to any of the songs inspired by Evil Dead. Tell us a little bit about the music that you found and compiled to put into the film as well.
From the beginning, it was like we really want to put like the fans, you know, up there. So like we didn't even try to get the rights to get some snippet and footage from the Evil Dead and stuff. It was just like, hey, let's go with fan film. There's so amazing fan film, and everybody saw the Evil Dead, so everybody will understand, you know, the reference of those film and the scene. So you know, the first thing, it was like we reach out to a bunch of filmmaker. We went on YouTube and start looking for Evil Dead fan film and like reach out to people. And then one of the Deadites, you know, John, which is from the UK, kind of tell me, you know, I've been collecting Evil Dead songs since years. You know, I can put everything on CDs and I have the name of the band and everything. So he shipped that my way. So I got like both CDs. They are somewhere here, I don't remember where. But then I start listening to the song, and some of the song is like good music, but didn't really have the feeling that I want to have in the film. But some of the music was like, wow, this is great. Like, we need to put that in the film. So I kind of asked Martin, can you reach out to everyone, you know, as a slave again, and try to make this happen? So he kind of start and reach out to a bunch of different bands and artists and stuff, and everybody was like, yeah, for sure, you know, let's use my song. So, and I think it's really adding to the movie. I think it's pretty cool. Like, if you're really listening to the lyrics of, I think there's 13 different songs, it's really adding to the movie. And on top of that, you know, there's a band who just like send us a message, hey, by the way, we just did a song called L to the Deadites, you know. So I was like, wow. And they sent it to us, and it's like in the end credit, because it's amazing. So again, it's really a documentary by the fans, for the fans, and I think that's why, you know, fans like dig it. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you I'm one of them. That's for sure. I'd love to be partial here, but I can't really be partial. I love this film, and I think the thing that you did so well is that you can make this work for people that really don't have a strong reference point for the franchise and still be fascinated by it. And I just love the level of respect that you treated not only the films themselves, but the people who love them so dearly. And I love the fact of, you just referred to it, the fan involvement in those short films that are basically fan-made films that are online floating around. They just make for the love of it, that music that is they made, that's inspired them. It kind of shows all those different layers instead of it just being about, hey, here's us at the convention. So, I mean, kudos to you for making a film that can transcend it just being a love letter to fans.
Well, I'm really happy that you liked it, and yeah, it was really done with the fans. Even the guy who did the sound mix, you know, Rob, he's like, he sent me a message. I'm like, I like, the Necronomicron was my wedding cake, you know, so I'm a huge fan. So he jumped in the project also. So yeah, again, quite an adventure, really fun, and let's hope that it's not gonna stay like that, and we're gonna have like more project. Evil Dead project in the future.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for giving me an idea for my next wedding anniversary cake, because I hadn't considered it, but I'm going to pitch it coming in June. Steve Villeneuve, director, writer, and editor, and Martin Bruyere, who is the associate producer, and so much more than just companion to Steve in this film. We've been talking about their documentary, Hail to the Deadites. It streams as part of Night Visions, a program that is presented by the Metro Cinema as part of NorthWestFest. And of course, you can see this film, as well as so many others, at northwestfest.ca. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. It was a pleasure.